Welcome to Hetero Life Mates, where we unravel current affairs with a twist. I am Imperial Panda, joined as always by Tiggs, exploring everything from everyday issues to the wild world of conspiracy theories. Buckle up for a ride where reality meets the unexpected. That'll do, yeah. Panda managed it. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, for those of you who weren't at the live recording, that took around about 5 minutes. Oh, and thankfully the studio audience is giving me applause. Thank you. It's not deserved.
Well done. I couldn't do it, so well done.
Thank you. We're slowly but surely getting better. Now, how are we, Tiggs?
We are good. We are very good. And how are you, Panda?
I am not too bad. Finally feeling somewhat normal after a bout of illness. That was fun. And
yeah, you were really bad, weren't you?
I was really ill, and then I had to go and sit through an Arsenal game on a Sunday afternoon, and I couldn't even touch the beer, Tig. Can you believe that? At a football game, I couldn't even have a beer.
There's nothing worse than having a private box and not having a beer to go with it.
Yeah, no, private shareholders lounge. Thank you very much. Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure didn't your grandma own half of Highbury?
That's correct. Yes. No, actually, no. I mean, in all seriousness, no. Actually, no. My grandma, or Nana, as I called her.
So Nana?
Yes, Nana.
Nana?
Yeah, obviously it was Nana. Shut up. She was born on the Highbury Road. Yeah, like literally a stone's throw from Arsenal Stadium. But it was back, this was back in the day when London was still occupied by Londoners, not foreign glitterati. Like she was evacuated during the war, yada, yada, yada. That's how she ended up outside of London. But, like so many didn't return. But yeah, no, she was a proper old, London girl, bless her, was old Nan. But
early king and queens, weren't they?
Oh,
old East End look.
They were, yeah, apparently so. But mine's gone completely blank now. But yeah, anyway, so that was a little bit off topic. So this week there's a little bit of structure, if you can believe it. We actually have a few talking points. Face. I know, it's magic, really, because I wouldn't expect every week to be like this. The chances of it being organised and cohesive are very, very minimal. But hey, the pilot episode has finally aired, and obviously, this is episode 2 that we're recording, so this is a little bit further down the line, so obviously episode 1 will have been out, but I don't know how well that's been received. But pilot episode, Tiggs, people like it. We did a good job. We've got something to be proud of. And obviously, we have a full-time editor now working on it for us.
I think people just dig the general bullshittery that we chat.
I think it must be. I'm just seeing a comment from a dolly. I imagine Nana is like a buffed granny that liked to give candy to children. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she was a pretty old school,
Werther's original, if you know what they are.
Yeah, sort of. Get told.
What is the thing with old people and boiled sweets? Do you think it's that's what they were brought up with?
I think it's got to be in it, because I think it was such. I don't know. Were boiled sweets like easy and cheap to produce? Is that why like every old person we've ever do you remember like your granddad or your grandma, like in the car they would have a tin of boiled sweets? It didn't why in the car? It was
I don't know.
Always in the car. There was and
I suppose back then everywhere you were going took ages to get to.
Yeah, and you were lucky if the car didn't break down or granddad didn't get lost or exactly. And secondly, why did they fill the tin of sweets with flour? So when you opened it...
I know why that is, and that's because when the car got hot, the sweets would sweat and end up sticking together, so they put the flour in to stop it sticking all together and becoming one big mass. So you didn't have just one big sweet, you could keep your individual sweets.
Giant gobstopper. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, like every old couple had that tin.
Every nana or granddad's house you've ever been to, they've got tins of sweets.
Yeah. And tins of biscuits as well.
Biscuits,
always biscuits. Wow, this was a subject I wasn't expecting to delve into, but now we're off. I saw some things on TikTok, and it was people like, again, your grandparents, like your nan would always have the biscuit tin, but it would have the sewing kit in.
Yes.
And somebody said that they went round someone's house and they found it really weird that people were keeping biscuits in the sewing tin. I was like, oh, you're showing your age there, mate, because there's only a very small minority of us on social media that understand those jokes now. I don't think any kid would get that these days.
Oh, not a chance. I remember my nan's biscuit tin, and it was this red, tall tin, massive thing it was, and you'd never want to get to the bottom because you know they had been there for a long time.
Yeah, they were going to be stale.
So always, if it got below halfway, you would leave the biscuits alone because they'd always top it up. So you take from the top, and that's it.
You know, though, I was always such a greedy little bastard that I wouldn't be able to help myself but try one. And you always instantaneously regret it because it was like trying to chew a piece of plasterboard.
Oh, it was me.
Yeah, it was the worst thing on the planet, wasn't it? But, you know, fat little kids for you. What can I say?
Just before we end this one, go to Biscuit, Panda.
Go to Biscuit.
Yeah, got to be your top favourite.
Top favourite. You're probably going to go, really? But malted milk.
No, I can dig that.
Yeah, definitely. That's got to be my favourite.
They're fast melters, isn't they?
They are. You have got to be quite a skilled dunker. It is true. Not on the level of rich tea, but definitely not a hobnob. You have got to be quite precise with the dipping time. You are correct. Now, this is a very English conversation. I can imagine the Italians and the Americans in the chat going, what are they on about? No. Yeah. Well, biscuit dipping in your hot beverage in the UK, it could quite possibly be classed as quite a serious sport.
It really is a sport. You have to know and train. We've all been the noobs.
Oh, yeah.
With dunking.
Yep.
We've all been there, and you've lost half your biscuit in the tea.
Yeah, sat at the bottom of the cup, and you don't. Yeah, that's it. It's just a mushy mess by the time you finish.
See, do you know what? I might freak you lot out here because a lot of people don't like that. But I used to like getting to the bottom of the tea and having that mushy bit at the bottom.
Do you know, I think that's a tradie thing. I think if you've ever worked on site, you appreciate any piece of fucking sustenance you can get through the workday.
Just that last little bit of energy.
Yeah. So you'll take the mushy pile of biscuit in the bottom of a cup of tea. Yeah.
I would all day long.
Your favourite biscuit?
Chocolate digestive.
Yeah, solid choice. Let's have a quick. And again, you got a bit of leeway with a chocolate digestive. You've
got a longer dunk time.
Yeah. It's a little bit more forgiving. Let's have a quick look at. We got chocolate bourbon. Yeah, solid choice. What's the Tolly say? I
do like a bourbon actually.
Yeah, bourbons are nice. The only problem is I can be a bit of a piglet with them. You know, once you get going with them.
Oh, I'm like that with custard creams.
Oh, custard creams. Yeah, no, there's always custard creams because, as you know, my boy, he loves a custard cream. So they're always handy. So I have to restrict myself going in the biscuit barrel for that. What's it Tolly saying? I got a blue biscuit tin with a sewing kit. There were only a few years I found with cookies. Oh, you found cookies in the sewing kit tin? No, so there you go. So it's obviously an international thing then, this sewing kit in the old biscuit tin.
I think do you know what? If it can sustain a sewing kit, why not a biscuit?
That's true. And secondly, I mean, it is a good place to store said sharp apparatus, I suppose, in a nice solid tin. Secondly, it's a shame to throw it away, isn't it? Some of those tins were very... I'm trying to take the piss, but I'm actually, as I'm saying it, I'm like, well, no, to be fair, some of those old school biscuit tins were very decorative, you know?
They really were.
Yeah. Like, none of this bullshit plastic stuff that you get now.
All right, let's not go into another
celebration
topic.
Tins. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, because we're delving off now into the world of chocolates, and that's a whole different ball game altogether. I think one of my talking points that I sort of mulled over and picked kind of segues quite neatly because we're talking about sort of old couples who had tins of sweets and sewing tins. There were biscuit tins, blah 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 blah, and I think older couples tended to stay together longer, but I think that's another conversation on its own. But I was reading most of my talking points for people listening will predominantly come from Reddit. Take from that what you will. Judge me however you wish. That I gather talking material from Reddit. However, I think it's a deep, untapped source of hilarity.
It is a good talking platform.
It is.
It really is.
Now, this one...
And you get some really weird conversations on there. Even...
Yeah.
I think pretty much like ours, where a topic will start on a subject, a topic will start on a subject. That's contradictory.
No, you mean a talk? A conversation will start on a subject.
A conversation will start off a subject that will then lead into pretty much what we've just done with biscuits, where it will head off in a completely different direction and land in a completely different area from where it first started.
Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, to be fair, the only real reason that I'm on Reddit really is for the comment section. I can be rolling around in stitches with tears streaming down my face from just some comments on innocent people's completely innocent posts, whether it's saying, can I have some advice on this? Or what do you think of this? Or showing off, or just the comment section sometimes can be, it's just chef's kiss, so good. But anyway, so this one person, right, it was a lady, and it doesn't matter. I'm sure that this could apply to both wives and husbands. However, in this particular instance, it was a woman. And she was asking whether she was the arsehole. It was a "Am I the arsehole" post. And she'd been married to her husband.
Going on lately.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. But she was asking for advice on, she had, at the very beginning of their marriage, taken the advice of her mother to squirrel money away in case the marriage went wrong, okay? Ooh. And... yeah, I thought this would be a good one, but let me finish before we start. And anyway, her husband had insisted that she be a stay-at-home wife, which she was happy about. Fair enough. He wanted to be very sort of old school. I will be the provider. You stop at home. Didn't have any kids. I think that's an important note to make. And
this is opening up a load of topics.
It is. I figured it was a fairly decent one that we could...
It is a decent one, yeah.
So... anyway, he had an accident at work, I believe, and couldn't work, and they got into financial troubles and stuff, and yet she still didn't mention that she had this money until, push came to shove and they were about to lose the house and stuff. She suddenly revealed to him that she'd got about 40 grand stashed away. And he, understandably, was quite hurt and upset that they'd been through such serious financial trouble and she hadn't told him that she'd got this money set aside in case she needed to bolt. Now, do I think she's an asshole? Maybe not. However, I don't, in my personal opinion, don't think that having a chunk of money as a
safety net,
as a safety net for yourself, I don't feel it's such a good thing, because I don't feel like it means that you're ever actually fully committed to the marriage in the first place, because you're already looking for the exit door anyway. But that's my own personal opinion. I just think.
All right. Got that. That's well. Did she bring it? I guess we don't know, because the comments from in Reddit are pretty. Yeah. Did she use it to help with them in their financial situation, or did she use it to get up and run?
No, I believe eventually she did. But No. I believe they did use the money to get back on track. However, what she was asking for confirmation that what she'd done wasn't out of order, because bearing in mind, right, this wasn't like he lost his job and was unable to work for like 6 months. She didn't clarify what the injury was or whatever. Who knows, maybe he lost half his penis in a meat grinding accident, or we don't know. We didn't, maybe he's a butcher. We don't know. Okay, it might have been exactly. It could have been embarrassing. He maybe works in a glue factory and he stuck his hands together. Who knows? Okay, but what he was upset about was that he'd like they went right to the edge of bankruptcy before she mentioned she had this money because she was desperate to hold on to it in case she had to run. And bearing in mind as well, she said that he wasn't, he's not a violent man, he's not an aggressive man, he's never cheated on her.
So he's a pretty decent bloke.
Yeah, from what she explained him as, yeah.
All right. From the basic information, we can gather that he's a pretty decent bloke. She's taken her mother's advice. Do we know if her mother was burned in that way? We don't.
Wasn't made clear. Yeah, we don't know the mother's...
So
yeah.
All we know is that she's kept a little piggy bank for herself in case she had to bolt.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think she's an arsehole in this situation.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Only because, wow, this is a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, this is why I thought it would be a good... I mean, here's Tolly's 2 cents worth is having a safety net is good, but she should have told her partner about it. And to be fair, I think that's a fair viewpoint to take in the sense of at least telling your partner, look, I do have this money, but it's for my own personal peace of mind in that should everything go tits up, I have something to fall back on. But just so you know, it's there in case we, as a married couple, need it. I tend to agree with you. I don't think she's an arsehole for having the money.
But like you said at the beginning, if you're doing that, you're not fully committed.
Yeah, that's...
Which then... in the back of your head, you've always got that plan B.
And we've all been...
having a plan B, you're either in or you're out, aren't you?
Yeah.
So to be fair, if you're in a relationship to the point where you get married, you have kids, there should be no plan B.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, realistically, I mean, it doesn't really even matter if you have kids, do you? I mean, if you, because essentially, when you get married, you promise your undying devotion and love to that person, don't you? And that's what I mean by having that, by essentially planning for the failure of the marriage. Or at least, maybe not planning for it is the wrong words to use, but at least placing a pretty decent bet on it not working.
But Panda, we could go so deep into this and say, where did the advice come from? And the advice come from her mother, who we don't know if she was burnt that way. And that's why she sort of instilled that into her daughter and be like, look, all men are bastards. Yeah. You need to have this plan B kind of thing. We don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know whether dad screwed mum over or...
exactly. Yes. But in the fact that she was clever enough to have a safety net, look, great.
Yeah.
You're good at saving. You can
yeah, you're better than me. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. You can save. But if she stood by her fella and then ended up using that money to go towards them, that sort of then says, is she an arsehole?
I think this was the problem. If I remember correct, I should have saved the post. I believe that it got close to them actually separating because he was becoming... I mean, like, we've all been there. You know what it's like when particularly when the man is really, really stressed in a relationship, we tend to shut down rather than talk about it. You know, that's just a very male thing because society has, without running down that rabbit hole, society has taught us that we shouldn't, really show emotion and blah, 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 blah. And I think that was more of the point as well, is that the relationship had nearly ended because the stress of it all had driven a massive wedge between them. And I think what a lot of people were saying to her was, but if you'd have told him about this money and, you could have covered priority bills, paid the mortgage, blah, 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 he probably wouldn't have got so stressed and upset, And,
at the beginning.
Yeah. So, Atoli just said something as well. It's more about the trust issues more than the money, and exactly 100%. I think realistically, I don't think money really. I mean, money in marriages is definitely a thing that causes problems, but ultimately, I think if the marriage is strong, I don't think the money doesn't really matter. You'll be fine whether you're broke or not. In most cases,
it's a double-edged sword. But in mine and my partner's beginning of our relationship, she paid for pretty much everything because I was, as you put it, the commoner, the hand.
Yeah,
you just didn't pay me enough, Panda. But it was.
You're paying me to be a right arsehole.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the one who said you shagged my ancestors. So,
well, Well,
Exactly. So, but I think it's for me much like now that, well, not just now, but throughout my working career, I've always tried to pay that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've worked them extra hours and I've worked harder, but especially now that, the family's involved.
Yeah.
It is very much a pride thing.
Oh, yeah.
So you do go out and you do earn it. And I don't think that is, I might cause a bit of a stir here, but I don't think that is very much a societal based thing.
What?
I think that's just innate.
What, the man being the provider thing?
Well, not has to be the provider, but there's just a natural provision instinct.
Oh, yeah, in terms of sort of hunter-gatherer type, ancestral throwbacks to, the men being the ones who went out, did the hunting, brought the catch back, provided for the... Yeah, well, I mean, of course, you can't, although, evolution has happened, those kind of, think of the right words.
It's not being funny, Panda. If you or I were in them financial straits and this woman then turns up and says, by the way, I've got 40 grand, I'll be like, thank fuck, bitch. Yeah. Because we were going to go cardboard shopping for the street corner in a minute.
Get on that bed, girl. You're about to see God,
But, yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, I thought it was a good talking point.
Oh, no, fantastic. That was a good one.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting one.
I don't think anyone would settle on either side there. I think that would be a continuous debate because you'd have the misogynist, like, no, she shouldn't have kept that money from misogynist. No, that's not the right word.
No, he would be a misogynist, wouldn't he, for saying to her, like, you're a woman, you shouldn't have that kind of money.
Why did you keep that from me? And then you get the others who'd be like, bless you, thank you, like, well done, like, we could never have done this without you, kind of thing. And then there's the people in between. But do I personally think she's an arsehole? I'd say 70-30. 70-30.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not. She's not.
Yeah, moving on. I thought this isn't that much of a huge talking point, but it was making me giggle. I saw a clip. Like, do you remember? This is going to show our age a little bit. Back in the day, when you would put a video or a DVD in, you'd get those really crappy, warning messages. You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a chocolate bar. You wouldn't steal blah blah blah. So don't steal movies.
That's it. Yeah. And when Looky Man was around.
That's it. And I thought to myself, it's very presumptuous of them. Who's to say I wouldn't nick a car? Maybe I would nick a car, and in that case, I'm going to have no conscience about nicking a movie, am I?
Well, but you never got them on stolen movies.
No, which is hilarious, really. So it's like, if all I watched was pirated movies, I'd have no idea your campaign even existed.
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't tell me to be correct. You couldn't tell me not to be a thief.
Yeah. You can't convert me if I'm already a thief. Yeah.
To be fair, though, Panda, the only geezer that, when I worked in the garages, the only guy that was very popular was the geezer who came around with the dirty movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he would walk... I won't describe the gentleman, but he walks in and honestly, it was like flies around shit. All the boys would just run over, and he would make a fortune in one garage.
Was this back before the internet was rife everywhere?
Oh yeah, yeah. This was when the first pirate DVDs were coming out, and he'd have his Tesco carrier bag full of them.
And through fear of getting myself cancelled, there was always a particular, especially round by me, there was always a particular type of person who would come around selling the DVDs.
Yes. Yes.
And they tended to be sort of out within the Asian continent way.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why. Looky.
Yeah. It's not racist because it always was. It always was.
It was. It's true. It's not. You can't call it that because you can't call it.
We're not saying that. Yeah, exactly. We're not saying that all Asian people sell dodgy DVDs. It's just whoever.
It's the ones that we saw.
It was always Asian people that popped in the pub with a bag full of DVDs. It's just the way it was. does. Yeah, so Tolly's saying, yeah, should we cover our ass and say, don't pirate material, it is bad. But yeah, not that everybody hasn't at some point or another watched or seen or purchased some form of pirated material. Do you remember like how they used to, don't do it, it funds terrorism? And it's like,
oh yeah, they got really extreme.
Yeah, they were like, are you a fan of Osama bin Laden? Well, you are if you buy a DVD. It's like,
do you remember
wow.
Do you remember the ones where they used to when the people were in the cinema and then you'd see the guy at the back with a red light in front of him, recording the cinema? It's like,
putting his coat,
get caught.
Yeah,
that's it.
Putting his coat over the camera stand, and it's like, I don't think they're that obvious. Yeah, But the thing is, though, is as well, like nobody ever liked watching those movies, especially when you hear people. Shit. Yeah, you hear people coughing, people standing up to go for a piss.
Stand up in front of the screen,
and they'd always have
and
to.
And you're shouting at your TV, sit down in front, and there's no one there. But
shut up, you wanker! Yeah, exactly.
Oh, mate. The thing, like, they were the worst copies ever.
Yeah.
But just so that you were in front of the time and that you could be part of the crowd, you'd have to sit there and bear it.
Yeah.
And watch it.
Especially if it was a film like your mum and dad wouldn't let you watch or something, so you managed to get it off your mate or whatever. Yeah, and
that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Tolly said the background audio was always horrendous.
Always. I don't think I ever got a good one.
No.
And then your mates would try and lend it to you or sell it to you, and they'd be like, "Oh no, it's a good copy, mate. It's a good copy.
Here's a quid for it."
Fuck off. Yeah. Is it fuck? Shut up.
Or like he'd randomly cut off halfway through the film. Probably because the geezer got spotted and he suddenly whipped the camera down. So you're like, hang on a minute, where's the rest of the fucking film?
You'd skip half an hour of it, like the most important part of the story, and you've missed it.
Oh.
But then we still went out and bought them.
We still did. Yeah, we still did. You always got suckered into it, and you'd always say to the bloke, "Is this a good one?" Oh, yeah. No, it's a good one. It's great. It's really good quality.
Really good copy.
Every time you think, you lying bastard.
Here's my money.
Yeah. Yeah, shut up. I want to watch Madagascar as much as the next bloke. Give it here. Hey, Madagascar
enough,
was a talking about film.
That was a banging film. I was talking to basically a customer I went to.
Yeah.
And
that's right. We should just mention that Tig is a prostitute.
Yeah. And not a cheap one either, so no offers.
High class.
Yeah, Panda taught me well. Go for the higher class.
You either like just inferred that I was actually a washed up old prostitute or in fact a pimp. I'm not sure which one's worse.
Well, it's not the latter, let's put it that way.
Oh no! I'm all used up and no one wants me.
We were talking about VHS videos, and he basically was saying that his kids they don't even know what VHS is.
Yeah,
and
mine wouldn't.
No, I don't think mine would either. To be fair, but we were, and I was talking about on a Friday night we'd get the geezer come around in the white van and have a load of videos in the back of the van, and he'd rent them out for a $5 for your Friday night film. So we'd have our takeaway, and we could rent a film off this geezer, and then he'd come around the next week, you give that one back, pay another $5, you get another one. And people used to make a living that way.
No,
like
it's
after
crazy,
Blockbusters, there was nothing left, was there?
No, and do you know what? Funny enough, I was talking to the missus about. Like, for those now who have not making exactly, Tolly's meant using, like, they miss using pencils and stuff to rewind videos and things, when the tape got mentally, exactly, getting your finger in it and mashing it up on the plastic spokes, like, kids today will never know that like, I can still smell Blockbusters. And, that joy of standing there on a Friday or a Saturday night, going through the racks, looking at the DVDs, thinking, which one are we going to have? And then, getting your snacks if you were feeling flush, because they were always fucking expensive at a Blockbuster. But they'll never know that. I mean, like, my daughter is proper, she's definitely a child of her time. Like, she kind of barely knew what a DVD was. She was like, oh, yeah. Oh, what you mean? You mean like the PlayStation games? Yeah, you used to like put like films on them and stuff. Like, she doesn't know a world outside of like in on-demand streaming.
It reminds me very much of that scene out of Back to the Future 2, and he goes into the Cafe 80s and he walks up to the two lads playing the game, and they're like, you have to use your hands. It's like a baby's toy. It's like, kid, like I say to my kids now, like, the very fact you're holding a remote control. I was the remote control.
Yeah.
My parents used to say, go and change the channel, and have to crawl across the floor and press. I mean, Panda might not know because his servant did it, but
I did have to kick them as they went past, because they'd have to go past on all fours. So I would kick them. I do remember that much. Do you remember though? Like, I remember like my first ever TV was a gift from my Gramps. It was one of his old TVs that he was getting rid of, or it had been his, like my uncle's or something like that. Anyway, and it was like, kids today would blow their fucking mind. To turn it on, I had to pull a knob out, and then to choose, like, I couldn't just press channel 1, 2, 3 or 4. I had to turn a knob to tune it into the different channels. And it literally, you go in and out of channels, and you would have to try and perfectly tune it so that you got the channel you were after. And could you find the one you were after? Not really. No,
it's when you found, if you found a channel and then no one liked what was on that channel, so you then have to tune it back to find the next one.
And sometimes you'd have to go through the whole fucking lot rather than just start twiddling the knob back the other way.
It made my year when Channel 5 came in, because when Channel 5 came in, it just gave us an extra fucking channel to flick through.
Yeah. Do you remember the late night softcore porn on Channel 4?
Loved it.
Yeah, it was the funny. Thinking back now, like as a teenage boy, like, what is this? You know, but it was so shit, really.
Yeah.
Like how they got away with it as well, I will never know. But old school
no
Channel 4 was wild. No, I mean it was the Wild West really of TV, wasn't it? You know, you obviously had the BBC, which was very straight laced, very proper. And here's our police dramas and news, and then you had ITV, which tried to be a bit more, as the kids would say in inverted commas, hip and cool. And then just Channel 4, just fucking
just smut.
Yeah, letting it hang, just doing whatever the fuck they pleased.
Pure smut. Well, it wasn't even smut.
No, that's what I mean.
What could you call it? It was just, I don't know.
I mean, now you would probably, it'd probably be something that an art student would create, and everyone would give a little clap and say, oh, very well done.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of glimps and flashes, wasn't it? Suggestive camera shots that didn't actually reveal anything.
You've really highlighted the sexual activity of certain age demographics.
Little bit of clever lighting on some underboob. Yeah, exactly. Mate, Channel 4 was the Wild West, but
I don't care. It got me off when I was there.
It worked in a pinch. Yeah. Oh, dearie me. But so that was my talking points, really. Where are we at? I mean, Christ, that's eaten up 3/4 of an hour.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I suppose what thing on your young age have I missed? Oh, what do I miss the most? I think without getting too kind of existential and, you know, the freedom
nostalgic
of youth and yeah, exactly. I think what I miss the most is the free time. The free time to do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
Like the thought, like as Tiggs will remember, like the thought of planning something with your mate, like it didn't take much effort. You both just kind of went, should we do it Wednesday? Wednesday it was, you know, you just did it after school or whatever. Like, I'm sure you're exactly the same, Tig. Like, we slice out time to make this podcast, and we've got a list of stuff that we have to do tomorrow and on Sunday. and then we're back to full routine Monday morning. You know, there is no. We can't just say, "Oh, should we meet up Sunday just for a giggle?" Just do it. You know, like nobody has that kind of free time. That is what I miss. The I guess really the lack of responsibility.
That's a massive one.
Like you didn't have to answer to anyone. I mean, apart from parents.
It's that age-old thing, though, isn't it? Because we heard it from our parents, and I'm sure they heard it from their parents, and we will probably teach it to our kids, and so on and so forth. It's like you will miss school so much when you're older because of that lack of responsibility. There is no responsibility.
Yeah.
You go to school or not, as in the case of some people, not mentioning myself at all, but when you go to school and then you come home and then you go to school the next day, and in between there's no responsibilities at all.
No.
And like you said, you want to meet up with your mates during the holidays and whatever, you go and do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because,
and that's it.
Yeah, all you had planned for the next day was wake up. That was
get
it.
Fed.
Yeah. You know,
you get fed, you get watered, you go out, you come home, you get fed again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not looking after anyone else, and you just go off and do what you want to do.
That's what I mean. Like your mum would say to you, in the morning, "What you got planned for today?" Nothing.
Yeah.
Are you going to meet up with so and so? Maybe. There was. To be fair, I'll probably just take a wander down the shops and see who's there.
Yeah.
You know, there was never.
Let's not paint a picture like we're from the 1950s and there was nothing, like no computers or anything like that, because we did have, but they were basic.
I mean,
you could probably spend the best part of half an hour on one, and that was it. And then I remember being just out all the time.
Yeah, just out with your mates. Exactly.
There was a dump that. There was a dump near just behind where I lived.
Yes, I was riding my bicycle around Hyde Park. And,
yes, we know.
Yes. Laughing at the commoners playing in the dump.
Yes, with a security guard of 3. We know. I was playing in the dump. I literally was. This is the thing, I can't even lie. Because I was. It was an old a glass mill. Glass recycling bank, sorry. And so that we would just go and find the full bottles that hadn't been smashed and then smash them. So we were that was our day. And then we nearly burnt part of the building down that was still existing, but that's another story. But a lot of it was a lot of my youth was spent outside, and that's what I miss.
Yeah,
being free to be outside and
like as I'm sure you can remember, like summer nights, like the 6-week summer holiday, just chilling down the park with your mates at like 9 o'clock at night when the sun's just
setting. Yeah, that smell. I don't think kids know that smell now.
No, because I mean, to be fair, they're not allowed anymore, are they?
No, would you trust yours? I mean, at that time of night?
Do you think we ruined it? Do you think we ruined it for our kids because of what? Like, we know we're like, fuck. When we were 16, we were sat down the park with a big 5-litre bottle of Strongbow. You know, causing havoc. And our parents thought we were just hanging out with mates at their house or whatever, and we weren't. We were in. I mean, to be fair, if I think back now, and I'm sure you can think of some as well, where we got ourselves into some pretty fucking dodgy situations that, looking back at the time, we didn't realise, but looking back now, it's like you really were in quite a serious situation that you didn't realise just how sketchy it was. Do you think we ruined it for our kids?
Only from our own perspectives, because we knew what we'd done. Yeah. But then our parents were the same.
Yeah.
I remember my mum. Her famous phrase was, "Do you thought I was brought up on the last banana boat?" Because everything that we were doing, she had already done. Yeah. And it's like, we can't, but the problem is now, and I'm going to say this very lightly, the world has definitely become a more dangerous place. So will I let my kids do that?
My Grams actually had a theory on this. I mean, he's dead now, bless him, rest his soul. But my dad asked him, my dad asked my mum's dad, do you think the world is more dangerous now than it used to be? And he said, and he thought about it, because I mean, don't get me wrong, my Gramps had his faults. He was definitely racist. You know, like he was old. I mean, look, I'm not defending him because obviously racism is wrong in all forms. However, he was part of that generation where it was just considered acceptable.
Yeah.
And I know you can go, well, he wasn't a great man then, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but...
Different times.
He was, but he was a part of his generation. It's as simple as that. Anyway, and he was quite a wise man, quite a deep thinker, and he thought about it for a bit, and he said no. He said, you know, because we said, well, you know, what about, you know, you're like, here now, you hear about murders all the while, you hear about paedophiles, you hear blah, blah, blah. And he said, they've always been there. It's just...
we're hearing about it more.
Yeah, exactly. But back when I was a kid, there was no, you know... There was no national news every night. There was no social media. It's just now we hear about it. You know, when a kid goes missing up in Blackpool, back when my gramps was a kid in like 1940 or what, I mean, there was other situations going on during that time. But the point being is there was no instant social media of help find Stevie. You know, they didn't hear about it. Well, it was still happening. It's just, and I think it's probably, I don't know. I mean,
do you think that's what's made us more cautious then, because of the outside sources that we're so which are so accessible? I think it makes us more cautious.
I think that, and the fact that most definitely modern day news is geared towards nothing but misery.
It is just negative all the time, isn't it?
You never... you do get the feel good stories, should I say, but they are always buried beneath the muck.
Yeah.
And I think as much as I kind of feel that I equate myself more with the Joker than I do Batman. I think ultimately there are lots of good people in the world, and there is a lot of decent people. It's just all we ever hear about or see is the scum, the dickheads, you know, the Harvey Weinsteins, the Katie Hopkins and Piers Morgans, you know, those shit slingers that make a living off of essentially just taking a big piss on everyone, you know. I think that's the problem these days. These fuckers are the ones that, I mean, like Tiggs, at the end of the day, we need to get famous so that we can be out there spreading joy and positivity rather than...
Yeah, well, we need to stop talking about this end, don't we?
Well, no, because we're bringing light to it. Do you know what? The thing that makes me giggle is I don't know whether Hatoli will know, but obviously Baymax will and other people. You may not know about him, but a guy called Piers Morgan is a middle-aged bloke that is angry at everything. And that is the only way to describe him.
He doesn't know what side of the fence he sits on.
No, I mean...
Whatever's current or what most people agree with is the side he'll decide to join. And it's just hypocrisy every time the boy speaks.
I mean, the guy is literally in his 50s, and I have never... I mean, he's still... Greg's introduced a vegan sausage roll, 5-6 years ago now? If it's got to be something like that. He's still angry about it. Why is he so angry about a vegan sausage roll? I mean, fuck me, no one's making you eat it, mate.
I think this is definitely a topic for another time, because I know we're running out of time. But
yeah, we are running long.
The problem with Piers Morgan, like we were talking about with the accessibility to sort of everything. Like the world is it's in our pockets, isn't it? The world is in our phone, and we can access anything we want.
Perfect analogy for it. Yeah.
It's all there, and he's the perfect example of picking and holding on to stuff. Because it feels, I don't know, empowering in a way. And I think that's the whole concept that the world has fallen into. It's like, if I can feel empowered in a subject, I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to run with it. Whereas it doesn't reflect, like my reflection, for example, is I don't give a fuck. Genuinely, I want to live my life. You live your life. Be happy with whatever you decide to do. Just leave me out of it, and don't force me into anything. I just you do you, and I'll do me, and that's it. As long as you don't affect my family in any physical or mental way, you carry on. But there's people that will sit into this this whatever subject it will be, and they feel empowered because other people are doing it. Then they run with it, and they really try to push it and bring it to to the forefront of everything, and it's almost like, guys, genuinely,
chill, sweetie.
The majority of the world don't give a fuck. We're just trying to survive.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
leave us be. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
that, like I said, it's because the world is so accessible.
Yeah,
and
I love
everyone's
your
got an
analogy
opinion
of
about something.
the world in your pocket. Is you couldn't have really summed it up any better than that. It really is how it is now, which is brilliant and also probably not so good at the same time. But yeah, no, I'm stealing that one, and I'm not going to give you any credit. And anyway,
the world in your pocket.
The world in your pocket. That's got to be your autobiography when we get famous. And then my autobiography is going to be The World in Your Pocket. I had this first. That's my, Tiggs is a liar, something like that.
Well, if we do get to that point, we'll probably become, like mortal enemies and try and sue each other for,
Never could that happen.
Patent laws and whatever else.
No, like I told you, the only time we'd ever go to court is if you refused nothing less than 50-50 share of the profits. That would would be funny.
It would be a great love story, though, wouldn't it?
Would be.
If we fell out, and then it would be like a great battle between two friends.
It was. Hello, Tolly's called it frenemies.
Frenemies.
I like that, frenemies.
Then we could come together at the end and make a book called Frenemies.
Oh, yeah, it could be the big reunion that relaunches the career.
Big reunion.
Yeah.
You know, like Ant and Dec.
Yeah.
They've never, they had their moment, but I think we should be the next ones.
That sounds like a good idea to me. Now, before we run completely out of time, shall we move on to the one segment that we insist we're going to keep on this podcast?
Go on, do it.
It's Conspiracy Theory of the Week.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
Now, this was an interesting one. I have done my research, and it's a fun one, but I will admit, I do think that it's probably a conspiracy theory that has disappeared based on the fact that the Furby toy died.
Yes.
Now, can you believe, in my little bit of research, that some of the employees believed these conspiracy theories? Like there was one of the main employees. I forget, and I'm desperately and furiously searching through my notes now to try and find. I think it was Hasbro made them. Oh, I've just fucking closed my notes. I swear to God, Panda.
Well, I'll give you some time then. Basically, because the main thing that I got from it, and I think why a lot of people fell into this Furby conspiracy is because of the American. And I think it was in 1999 that they, basically the Pentagon and a lot of US embassies and,
it was the NSA.
Big political places decided to cancel any kind of Furby or related Furby toy to be cancelled from any of their buildings. And they weren't allowed to be on site because they believed that they were actually recording their private and secret conversations. And feared that they were going to be taken away and used against them, basically. And
fucking brilliant.
And I think that stemmed a lot of it, and that was because the Furby toy, well, they assumed it was actually learning. Like an AI system.
Yeah.
It learned its Furby language and then started working out and then sort of translating them into English.
Yeah.
And we could repeat the words back to you.
If I recall correctly, wasn't Furby language kind of like kind of thing? And then
the weird thing is, I just understood everything he said.
Yeah, I see. Well, that's because I will
see you on Wednesday for that.
I am a secret double Furby agent. Yes, thank you, Hatoli. Yeah, Hatoli's just confirmed it was Hasbro, and I have found they were originally created in 98 by Tiger Electronics, and then I'm assuming bought out by Hasbro. But yes, it was you're right. I mean, this is the insanity of it all, really. It was the NSA, the Americans' NSA, which now in particular is considered to be quite the formidable cyber force within the world.
A teen originally scared by a Furby.
Yeah. When you hear of like for instance, like if like people like programmers and stuff and security engineers who come out of the NSA are considered to be feared and revered and are very often offered very lucrative and well-paying jobs within the cybersecurity industry because of their skills. They're essentially America's MI5 and the equivalent of Israel's Mossad. Well, that's for another podcast. But you're right.
Israel's Mossad.
But yes, Mossad. Their secrets. Right, let me just Google this quickly so I don't make myself look stupid. But I'm pretty sure Mossad is Israel's secret intelligence Institute of Intelligence and Special Operations, popularly known as Mossad. Yes, it's Israel's. Yes, Israel's secret intel. They're MI5, and they've got a unit. This is another subject which we could go down, but they've got like I think it's called Unit 86, which again is considered to be very scary in terms of their abilities. But yeah, anyway, so the point is that this was a government agency, and not just any government agency. We're not talking about the team that decides on what width road marking should be. We're talking about the team tasked with the country's cybersecurity, right? And they genuinely banned Furbies from any government building through security fears that the Furbies was spying on them. Now, obviously, I'm sure they meant that they were being used as espionage devices for a foreign government. However, I like the thought that maybe possibly there was somebody in the NSA who was maybe, I don't know, like a paranoid schizophrenic or something, who thought that the Furbies were real and that the Furbies were mobilizing and that it was best to keep them out of government buildings.
The Furbies are coming.
Exactly. So,
but the thing is, if you were that paranoid to be scared of how tall were they? About what? 9 inches, 12 inches at most.
They were tiny, weren't they? Yeah, they were tiny things.
It's almost like going back to the Gremlins, isn't it? When you look at the Gremlins film now, you're looking at them and you think, I'll just squash you, mate. You carry on being misbehaving.
Yeah, exactly. You'd kick Mogwai across the room, wouldn't you? Yeah.
So it's almost like, but then I can almost understand if you were a parent at the time and you give this toy to your kid, one day it's speaking Furbish, the next day it's saying hello. You would start to be worried, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oi.
You walk in your living room. Yeah, you walk in your living room and the Furby just looks up at you very sinisterly and goes, hello, mate.
All right.
You know. Yeah.
What's for dinner, girl?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. Turn the eating on, it's brass monkeys in here. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you playing at? Get the eating on, girl. I might look pink and fluffy, but I'm fucking freezing.
I am freezing my tits off here. Yeah.
You can understand it from like a normal civilian's point of view, but if you, like you said, you've got this NSA agent who's trained to high heaven, and he's gone, no, I don't trust that. Get that out of here right now.
Because
he just blinked at me.
I love the fact that the NSA agent is from the West Country. I don't know about this, sir. I think we better get rid of it.
And all right, well, look, I couldn't do a country
Can you imagine that? The Furby conspiracy theory started because, in actual fact, the UK government had managed to plant their own mole within the NSA using a West Country, and he's like,
and he was from Devon.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know about what all these leaks are happening, but if you want my honest opinion, sir, that little fluffy thing, he looks a bit shifty to me. You might want to get rid of him. Yeah, he reckons like he's the one leaking documents. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. What's going on here? Secret.
I'm pretty sure I saw him nicking my cider. He was. You want to get rid of that
Mr.
little
President, thing? Mr. President, he's talking to Russia over there. You might want to go and have a look. All right?
He's propped the Furby up in the corner with an old handset up against his ear. Look
The thing is,
him.
if you was gonna plant a spy toy, it wouldn't be a pink, blue, fluffy fucking alien with a beak, would it?
That you know has a microphone in it for one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You try and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're saying all of this. You know, Hasbro have got a load of them, and they're downloading the recordings right now.
Oh God, yeah,
Just saying.
yeah. All my secret 8-9-year-old thoughts that I shared with my Furby are now being used to profile me as an adult.
All right, so I met Panda today, and we went into the woods, and he picked up a stick, then he threw it at me.
Yeah.
What a bastard!
He kept telling me I was the reason his parents didn't love him.
Mine involved a stick being thrown at someone. You had to go all deep and emotional. What's going on?
Sorry to just trauma dump on everyone there.
Yeah, leave that for the next one. Yeah, we can have a whole session about that.
Oh Jesus, we could do the dodgy parents thing all night long, couldn't we? Christ,
I don't think we could. I think a lot of people would turn off because I'd start crying.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We'd start talking, and all they'd be left with for the next half an hour is just sort
It's
of
too
quiet
emotional.
weeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that. We don't need that. Let's carry on talking about the coronist fucking Furby conspiracy.
So yeah. Anyway, that's what we've figured out is then in actual fact that the Furby was nothing more than a diversionary tactic for the UK government, so that their West Country spy was never quite found. Yeah, we've worked it out. Just imagine if a Furby recorded a murdering Yeah, imagine. I mean, is it possible that Furbies could be used in a criminal case? Would the recordings of Furbies be admissible in court? I don't know.
Well, this is a weird thing, and I don't know. I started to read the technology about it, but then it got a bit too panda for me, so I left it.
No.
And by that, I mean a bit too technological.
Yeah, I do like to get into the weeds on that stuff.
But the very fact that the language started off as Furbish, and but the chip inside the Furby could recognise and then repeat the English word was pretty clever.
Oh yeah, no, it is. That's the thing I think that freaked everyone out.
Would that not be classed as a bit of form of AI because it was self? Well, I don't know if it was self-learning, but it was more like a repetition where it would hear something so many times and then repeat it. But even that, for a technology back in the early 2000s, was pretty...
Yeah.
It was late 90s, early 2000, wasn't it?
Yeah, very late 90s. I think that's what it... I mean, you are right. In a sense, it was a very primitive form of AI, but I think that's what it was. I think the problem is that the Furby was... It was before its time, so to speak. Like... People weren't ready for it. If you think of what we were coming off the back of in terms of toys, it was Action Man. It was all very kind of dumb toys or stuff that, you know, it had a PCB in it and it would just replay words off of pre-recorded messages. You know, it was nothing major. So I suppose to suddenly have this thing that essentially could move eyes, it could move its mouth, you pressed its tongue, it would act like it was being fed, and then like you said, it would not learn words but could translate them, I suppose, essentially, which it might not be actually as clever as you think it is. But it freaked a lot of people out.
Well, like I said, it would. If you one day it was talking Furbish and then you come in and it's saying hello to your kid, then...
Ooh, I love
oh, you're sexy.
I watch you when you shower. Yeah. I'd probably... to be fair, I don't know whether I'd like the attention and the compliments or whether I'd be freaked out. But...
there's always a way for you. I just imagine you sat in a room by yourself with a Furby.
The Furby going, no, this wasn't what I signed up for.
Yeah. I'm a child's toy.
Fucking Panda just sat there in the corner of the room with it all hanging out going, you're going to regret giving me that compliment, Mr. Furby. Dimly lit room.
Oh, no.
Furby and Furbish going,
dark. We need to come back. That's why they stopped Furby. It's not because of the NSA. It's because of middle-aged men being pervs with it.
What we subjected it to because we realised it could. Yeah, you can feel fear. Not like this. You can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the people who planted it are now playing them recordings, getting very disturbed,
sitting there rocking in a corner.
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah.
I can't hear any more of this.
Joan Vicky Mola, hello and welcome. Yeah, all they've put in chat is 3 dots. Yeah, I think they joined at a strange time. But anyway,
do apologise.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I apologise for nothing. I am open and honest, and I'm telling you now, if that Furby had given me a compliment, my ego is that fragile. I would have took advantage. Run away with your little legs, Furby. I'd like to see you try.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I've locked the doors,
Just a Furby in a chair with duct tape on it. You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay,
We've got to that now. We've got to that stage
I think
now.
it's probably time we put the Furby conspiracy theories to bed, shouldn't we? Yeah.
I think so.
So anyway, Furby one was a fun one. We will obviously work out what the conspiracy theory for next week. We will talk about that.
To be fair, that was a suggestion, wasn't it, Panda?
I believe
Furby?
it was from either Tolly or Sam. I can't remember.
Let's get another one.
Yes, we'll definitely get another one. Yes, if you've got a conspiracy theory that you'd like us to discuss in next week's podcast recording, then please let us know. Either in the chat now, or the Illuminati. Ooh, going in big, straight from the get-go. Lizard people. Oh, yeah, I'm well up for that one.
I like lizard people. I like that one.
We've got a couple of options. We've obviously also, and this seems like it's strange. People like listening to us discuss things, Tiggs, which who'd have known? Noon?
Who'd have known?
Who'd have known? Who'd have known now? It's for kind of Irish. Right? No, who'd have known now?
Travelling the country with that accent.
We are. We're going everywhere tonight, aren't we? The other one, of course, is the death penalty.
Yes, I do want to do that one.
So, do you think maybe, Tiggs, what we should do is I can put out a poll on the Discord, and we can have people vote on what do they want next. Do they want us to cover the Illuminati, or do they want us to cover the death penalty?
Yes.
If you want my honest opinion, I've got a sneaky inkling as to what I reckon will win. But then again, though, who knows? Yeah.
People decide.
Yeah, we'll let you guys decide. But apart from that, I think we're done. This has been an hour and a quarter, this podcast, Tig. Oh, and you'll be pleased to know I have briefly, whilst I was searching for notes and things, I have looked, and the bots that we use to record the podcast on Discord, I've had a look, and if we sign up for their Patreon, which is it's a very small nominal, it's like $4. It's not a lot. We can have access to their auto record feature, and based on Panda's memory lapse of constant memory lapses, I think it might be a wise thing to invest in. Mainly because my editor gave me some very seriously evil looks.
You done fucked up, boy.
Yeah, when Bex realised that I had not hit record, the sheer panic that came over her face of how the fuck am I going to edit that up for? Well, you're going to wait and find out. It's going to be good. But yes, Tolly, there will indeed be. I will put the poll on both YouTube and Discord. And so next week we got a good one to look forward to, Tiggs. It's either going to be Illuminati or the death penalty.
Looking forward to that.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one. But
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Today I really enjoyed today.
Yeah, it's been a good one,
really
hasn't it? It's been really good, and I think we're starting now to get into a real good flow of things as well. I'm working on my not talking too much and cutting across you, because I know it's a terrible habit and I would like to put it out there for everyone. I apologise deeply.
It's fine. What are you apologising for? It's in our nature, isn't it? The hired help is to be seen and not heard. I know this.
Don't you stop.
I'll talk to you about this after the show.
Yeah, he says these things, but he won't let on to the fact that I actually think of him like my older brother.
Why am I the older one?
Because you technically are.
By how many years?
3.
Shut your face.
Anyway, yes, you're right. We will talk about this, and we'll consider a deduction in pay as well. But
yes, your family won't eat tonight, bitch.
Yeah, Tiny Tim's Christmas, forget it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dolly's she's got a difficult I see I'm doing it again. They've got a difficult choice to make. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, Tiggs. Death penalty or Illuminati? It's going to be interesting to see which one wins out. But yeah, I'll do it after this podcast.
The thing is, but hold on, just quickly, and I know we're desperately out of time, but why can't we do both? Half an hour on each, say. No, I don't like that.
I was going to say, I don't think we can give full...
shut up.
I think we can plan... I mean, I like the idea, but I think we can plan next week's podcast now based on the fact that we need very minimal talking points to begin with. Like, we can do our very general, how's things, and then go down a little bit of a tangent on random conversations, but then we can dedicate a large chunk to these subjects and really go down some...
Yeah, all right, I said, all right? Jesus, shut up, I love you.
Sorry. All right. Anyway, Tiggs, would you like to say goodbye to our wonderful listeners?
See you later.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you in the next podcast. Peace.